Super GT. Down the straight, green lights on, we are racing in Super GT here at Suzuka, and it's a perfect start for Ukyo Sasahara as they head to turn 1. Already Hiroki trying to shadow him as they go through that first couple of corners, and in comes Nidai Fukushima trying to challenge them as well. Good launch from Nobuhara Matsushita. And it's Toyota, Honda, right at the start of the race. The Ineos Prime Supra already starting to challenge up at the front end of the field in third position, snapping at the heels of Hiroki as they work their way through the S's. And they will come up to the top of the crest of the hill. GT300 about to get underway as well. They are single filed, although they are staggered on their grid positions rather than side by side. Off we go, and it's a good start from Tomonobu Fuji in the D station Aston Martin. Good launch as well from Hideki Yamauchi, but Ibiki Taira is already starting to threaten the Subaru's primacy at the moment at the front end of the field. So a perfect start in both classes, no dramas at the moment. Everybody keeping themselves to themselves, which is something we couldn't say at Fuji. It got a little bit spicy on the first lap. Not here at Suzuka, the drivers know it's a 3-hour race and a lot can still happen.
Yeah, remarkably few position changes actually in GT500. I think the top 8 at least are all in the order they started, even though Otsu is pressuring Ukyo Sasahara, his former Honda stablemate, but didn't look like he had any real opportunity to go past. It is only the first lap. Of course, you can't win the race on the first lap, but you can certainly lose it. And Otsu usually is a calmer head than that. You can see in the background there the 23 car already holding up Bertrand Baguette in the number 12 Impul Nissan and Tsuyo Matsuda in the Kondo Nissan. So that seems to be where the biggest gap is emerging for now. But it appears that at least the top 8 or 9 cars, all in the order they started at the end of the first lap. Thick of the pack because Fukushima goes for a move there on his former teammate. These two drivers shared the number 16 car last year, but Fukushima can't get the move done. But he might have a good run down here into turn 1.
Well, there's the first big attempt, the first big look. Fukushimi's going to try and open up the tax on Otsu. Otsu hugs the pit wall. That will be enough to hold him on the inside, but can right round the outside Fukushima go? Oh, wow! Up the inside comes Otsu once again to bounce back, and they're side by side all the way through the first 2 corners. Fukushima determined, and he gets his man up in a second position. Brilliant run from Nidai Fukushima. That did not take long to get the firepower of Toyota up in front of Honda, and Nidai Fukushima sends the Honda hearts plummeting to their boots for the time being. What a firecracker move that was from Fukushima. Set him up in the final chicane, committed to the move down the main straight, held his nerve around the outside of the opening 2 corners of the hairpin, and just stood on everything through turn 3. Got the move done. Absolutely stupendous from Nidai Fukushima.
Perhaps it's just the conditions are suiting whatever they've chosen. Baguette as well has gapped Quintarelli, who's now got his old teammate Tsuyo Matsuda for company.
So Matsuda trying to pull off the same move that Nidai Fukushima pulled off on Hiroki Otsu, and it's even more complimentary for the Realised Nissan crew. Just storms around the outside of Ronnie Quintarelli, who, as you say, Jamie, having a terrible start to this season, never mind this round, because of course don't forget that at the first round of the championship at Okayama, he was on the gravel at turn 1, placed there by another competitor, of course. So they were immediately on the back foot. And really, ever since that first corner of the first lap of the season, Ronnie Quintarelli has essentially been chasing his tail a little bit. It's not really been the exemplary start to the season he would have wanted. I'd like to think that his main goal going into the summer part of the season is going to basically to rework things. Right, here we go. Civil war at the ARTA Mugen crew. And they've got a whole host of GT300 cars to try and settle their differences through. Hiroki Otsu and Nobu Matsushita. This could be fascinating, with Nobu really starting to hammer home the advantage here over Hiroki Otsu. And I wonder how much of the Tomoko Nijiri fire and thunder has been robbed off on his teammate already, as Nobu already starting to really get hungry behind Hiroki Otsu in the sister car. And these two have got to be careful that they don't impede themselves by squabbling too much for third position at this stage of the race, because that could cost them dearly in the hunt to Toyota in front of them, who have got a little bit of a gap on them already. Here's Nobu, trying his best to try and take on Hiroki. Got the good smart Mercedes and that's the Anest Iwata RCF in front of them, I do believe. So that's going to be Igor Fraga behind the wheel. And now we've got Mitsunori Takaboshi making a good run off the final turn to take on Toshiki Oyu. Toshiki Oyu's just got to try and stick to his convictions. But again, it's that straight line speed that, well, I was going to say that is impeding them, Nissan. It's not impeding them that much, and it shouldn't be that much faster than the Keeper Supra, because it's nearly twice the success ballast of the Keeper Supra. But even so, you can't really knock a good car when it's on a good run, and Mitsunori Takamoshi definitely finding the opportunity to work his way into the battle here with Toshiki Oyu.
Is Aoyus getting checked up there by the Nils Racing Nissan GTR. Sekiguchi almost going on the curb, it looked like there. To
two drivers that acquitted themselves very well recently in Super Formula, but that's a little bit hesitant from Daisuke Makino. Here comes Shotsumoi around the outside, takes full advantage, but he can't put the hammer down because the Polos Ferrari is still in his way. And now Daisuke Makino's been caught out by the Mach 5. Is there enough race circuit for Shotsumoi to play with? Oh my goodness, this is exactly what Super GT is about. The GT500s playing with the GT300s, trying their best not to hit them. How close was that for both Makino and Tsuboi? Their race very nearly ended in tears. It's 2 seconds in GT500 as up the inside, that's the Satamoto Yobit supercar. Seiji Nanaka getting through on Shinichi Takagi in the Keiichi CF Lexus. Very tidy move then for 8th position, or was that a defensive move to try and keep them back?
Hanging on to 8th, Takagi's come up. He was running P10, he's now P9, so it's Takagi who's on the move here. Not sure which car he passed in the battle.
To give yourself the best possible chance. Here's how it all kicked off. So this is Hiroki Yoshimoto up on the curbs. God, that was a little bit fisticuffs, a little bit more than they wanted, and that's how Naoya Gamu got the move on both cars, because they were very much impeding themselves. And Naoya Gamu...
Skies do look a little bit darker than they were at the start of the race, and it looks like Kodai Tsukakoshi now finally making a bit of progress. And actually, Izawa's come back at Sekiguchi, so I don't know what happened to Sekiguchi there. He was well clear of the Dunlop shod Honda, and now he's falling not only behind that, but also Kodai Tsukakoshi all the way down into 15th and last in GT500 for the Saab Toyota there. So something's happened there that we didn't see.
Let's have a look at it. This is where it all got a little bit squirrely in the braking zone. Yeah, that's messy. Look at that.
Oh, quite a big bit of contact. That's solid chunk of bodywork came off the back of that Saab Toyota. That almost full course yellow territory, perhaps, if they want to retrieve that, because it's quite a decent piece, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the right rear quarter fender, essentially, and there it is. It's the mistake that comes in initially. Hoodwinked the Subaru down into the break. He's over the chicane. He's going to go for it out of a good run from the 130R, and that is a perfect run from Hibiki Taira. Almost caught Hideki Yamauchi half asleep there. Managed to go for the move, and once he'd committed to it, Yamauchi didn't really have much of a response. The Subaru driver almost caught napping.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Yamauchi didn't defend that a little bit harder, unless he's taking the approach that the tyres are going off and he would have more to lose in the long run than he would by defending the position, as we see Kotaka now having another go at Shimizu in the APR Lexus. Shimizu defending the inside line as you would expect. I don't think Kotaka's quite going to find a gap there, although he's certainly making his presence felt in the mirrors of Shimizu. Kotaka, I mean, really, he's had such a miserable campaign so far in Super Formula, but he has been fairly impressive in GT300, so this is his main chance to shine, I think, to his Toyota employers and try and convince them that he's worthy of a spot in GT500. He already drove one of the GT500 cars very briefly in the Sepang test.
Absolutely knows exactly where Kataoka's going to place it. Here he goes again. Surely now this is where the LC500H can unlock that pace and tap him in and go round the outside. Is it going to be a clean move? Of course it is. Kataoka unlocks it and manages to storm that move around the outside to rounds of applause. Finally we got ahead of them. Otsu's going to have to defend here. Does do so on Nobu Matsushita. I was just going to make the point that on the run to the 130R, you can start to see the glaze of the headlights in the road, which tells us that there's a little bit of standing water starting to appear now. But it's not enough really to cause massive issues. Matsushita around the outside of Otsu. You've got to commit to that. They bang wheels. They hit each other. Boys, do not throw this race away. Oh my goodness! The ARTA Mugans come as close as it's possible to taking each other out of the race. There'll be stern tickings off on the pit wall to both drivers. What is the Japanese for? What are you boys playing at? Getting the move done on the gainer Z, and now Shotsumoi and Daisuke Makino are right behind him. Shotsuboi's going to try and go the long way round the hairpin, hoping that Quintarelli's going to hold up Makino. He'll get a faster run off the turn. There's going to be a gap opening up. Can he commit to it on the inside? Oh, the Ferrari is in the way.
Again, that's the same car that thwarted Tsuboi when he was having a go at Makino several laps ago.
Every time I try and get a move on Tadasuke Makino, there's a Ferrari in the way. What is going on for Sho Tsuboi? But now he's got a good run off Spoon. Look at that. That's a much better exit for Sho Tsuboi than Tadasuke Makino. If he can just keep this going all the way up the straight and through 130R, he could have a chance here into the chicane. The television director is on point with us. He feels the same way. He feels that a move is inevitable. Can Sho Tsuboi commit up the inside? Well, here comes the move up on the inside of Toshiki Oyu from Sugio Matsuda, and there's a little bit of a love tap.
That was so close to being a disaster there. Matsuda really sending up the inside. We've got more cars coming to the pits. Oyu has come into the pits there, and who's that car ahead of him? One of the 300s, I think, from the yellow headlights. Couldn't quite tell which one it was. But Toshiki Oyu the first to blink as far as the GT500 pit stops.
That was sensible. That was absolutely... They are staying very close on pace. What's happened here? It's got a little bit too close for comfort in GT300.
This is the contact. This is the contact.
Oh, that is monstrous, actually. So, fair enough. And it's twice. So, okay, that would make a lot of sense then as to why in the Deloitte Tom Supra. Oh, that's Tadasuke Makino having to defend big time on Sho Tsuboi and then chop across his own line to get back in on the inside of the Polos Ferrari. Goodness me, from Tadasuke Makino, that really is threading the eye of the needle at over 100 miles an hour. Fair play to Tadasuke Makino. That's big defence.
Yeah, it's not been an easy weekend for the Stanley crew. Probably the least competitive of the four Bridgestone Hondas, although of course the Real Racing Honda starting out in position because of Takoshi's spin in qualifying. But this is just one of those days where you need to bank the points, and of course you want to gain ground on the championship leader. I think at all costs they want to finish ahead of the 36 car, otherwise for their championship it's going to start looking very difficult indeed. So important for Makino. I think it's a symbolism. Look at those umbrellas, look at the raincoats. This is the start of rain that might actually start to impact the race, and those cars that already stopped, the 16,
and therefore better in the wet conditions. Obviously, the LC500H has a longer wheelbase than any of the others. So in these slightly damper conditions, the LC500H actually has a lot more of an advantage on some of these shorter wheelbase cars in these slightly slipperier conditions. So this is where Kotaka can really make it pay. He's got a great run off the final chicane, and he's going to be side by side. Surely he's going to get the move done before they even reach the braking zone. He's fractionally ahead. Yamauchi's still trying to run level alongside him. But surely Kotaka into third position. He does indeed get there. These are the kind of conditions that could actually favour the LC500H moving forward over the next hour. So Kotaka taking full advantage of that.
To do, but it might be the sensible thing to do.
Side by side, this is Sugio Matsuda. Sorry, no, that is the Keeper Super, isn't it? That's Toshiki Oyu going wheel to wheel with Ren Sato, and Sato is finally going to get the move done by the look of it. Round the outside, he commits to it, gets the move done. That was a tough move for Ren Sato to pull off there, as another Supra holds him up. Sho Tsuboi battling wheel to wheel with the Impul. This is going to be an interesting one for Kazuka Hinamine. Hinamine trying to commit round the outside. Oh, lovely from Hinamine. Beautiful.
So getting back into P5 there, and he's got the number 38 Toyota of Toshiki Oyu firmly in his sights. And the number 2's lost another position there. That's the number 6 coming back. The Le Mans Ferrari now with Roberto Merri at the wheel. So it's not going well now for the number 2. Look at Merri. I mean, he was the most critical of the number 2's BOP. So this will have been personal for him to try and get the better in what he considers to be an inferior machine as far as the balance of performance goes. Roberto Merri there, he loves this circuit. Of course he drove here in Formula 1 back when he was driving for the Marussia team, and that was a good move from the Spaniard.
He's worked his way through the GT300 traffic to build up a little bit of momentum as well, and now we've got a fabulous 3 manufacturer battle storming up the inside. Surely that's going to be tricky for Tepenitore on Toshiki Oyu. Toyota versus Nissan. Round the outside, Tepenitore tries to commit to it, can't quite get it done. The inside still a little bit squirrely on the right-hander, so he has to back out of the throttle. And now here comes Tomoki Najiri. This could be an interesting comeback charge from the ARTA Mugen driver, very much on the back foot after the pit stops. A lot of positions lost. They're down in 8th position now. If they can hustle Toshiki Oyu and Tepenitore, then they might be able to get themselves back into at least P6. But this is going to be tricky. We're back in the GT300 melee at the moment. Toshiki Oyu desperately trying to work through, almost tripping over the Mach 5 as he finds a way through on the inside line. Tepinatore going to find a much more conventional overtaking move. But they've got the Metal Live Hurricane in front of them now as well. Here comes Satoru Najiri. He's got a better run past the Mach 5 than Tepinatore and the Kondo did. Maybe he can commit round the far side and keep the pace of this RTA Mugen favourable. Watch out in the background as well for Mitsunori Takaboshi and Katsumasa Chiyo. They're not too far away either here. So this could really start to unravel for one of the teams in this mix. And it does seem as though the Keeper Supra, although they qualified well, their race pace just they just don't have the staying power that they had earlier on in the race.
Yeah, all you don't forget was the first to pit all the way back on lap 22. So his tyres are already 18 laps old, quite a bit older than the cars he's racing against. So perhaps not a surprise that he's rather defending than pushing forwards. But still, you'd expect a little bit more pace from the Keeper Supra, considering the pace of the two Supras at the head of the field. You can see the pit lane times there, just looking out for any particularly slow stops. The number 3 was slowish, but not terribly slow. Doesn't explain why they lost so much ground. You can see the number 36 car there.
What a move! Did you see that? Toshiki Oyu just suddenly caught out there by Tepinatore, who stormed through on the inside. I really want to see that again, because Tepinatore really did catch Toshiki Oyu off guard there. There was almost contact, and that is the Kondo through into P6. We've got to look at that one again.
So this is a really good run for the Yokohama Shod Kondo Nissan. This is the best we've seen from them all season, or for any of the 3 cars not running on Bridgestones. There's another one of them, the number 19 car that won this time a year ago. That must feel like an awfully long time ago now for both tyre manufacturer and team, as well as the drivers. Kakenoshin Ota now at the wheel of the number 17 Honda, looking to make a move here. I think he's going to get the job done.
Way.
Good move. Kakenoshin Ota and Chiyo again showing that he is the true ace of the Nissan stable now.
Oh my goodness! Oh, he's lost it! He's lost it! Katsumasa Chiyo! Big incident. It just looked as though the brakes failed on him. Katsumasa Chiyo going very deep into the brakies over the chicane and almost cannons into the back of Tomoki Najiri. And there's damage. There is damage that's come off one of the cars on the main straight, and it's come straight off the back of Toshiki Oyu. It's Toshiki Oyu's car.
Well, I think that's going to be a full course yellow, or maybe even a safety car to retrieve that debris, and that's going to be a black and orange. Black and orange for sure for the 38. There's no way that car can continue to run, I think, in that condition.
Yeah, the car is peeling apart like an orange. This is not good for Toshiki Oyu or the crew. And they've got a very hefty repair job to do at the back of that car. What on earth happened? Katsumasa Chiyo is not the kind of driver to make a mistake like that.
That was really uncharacteristic. I'm almost shocked that you don't normally see somebody misjudging it by that much.
Yeah.
And certainly not a driver of Katsumasa Chiyo's quality.
So I wonder if there's a brake issue now developing then on the number 23 Nissan. I do wonder if that's one of the biggest issues. And there we go. Toshiki Oyu realizing, you know what, this car is too damaged. We're out of the running. We've just got to move over. Now, here we go. Katsumasa Chiyo, look, he makes the move on Najiri, but the car just doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop in any way, shape or form. He clips the back.
Yeah, I don't know. I just get the impression there, watching that back, that Chiyo was so focused on Najiri that maybe he just didn't quite see Oyu until it was too late, because he avoids, obviously swerves off the road to, he did make small contact there with catastrophic consequences. And
full course yellow. No surprises there.
Inevitable. They had to do something about that debris. Just before the full course yellow, I noticed that, and you can see there, that's the D station Aston Martin had caught up quite a bit on the APR Lexus. Not quite at the rear, but I think Fag is closing the gap on those fresh Dunlop tyres. Don't forget the 31 APR Lexus didn't take tyres, so I think we could see Fag coming back towards Kotaka in this stint in the lead battle, and that is the end of the road, isn't it, for the Ceramo Toyota?
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have done a little bit of work to try and replace the rear end of the car, but I think there's a lot more damage to it than meets the eye. That will potentially be suspension geometry related. So what has happened here between Kakenoshin Ota Yeah, so Chio struggling to get back on terms as Kakanoshinoto completely hoodwinks him. As the Aotia Mugen deals with the Autobacs Super and the Subaru, who came out on top? The Subaru is going to go around the outside of Setinanaka. That's all very well and good. But who's leading in GT300 now? Is it the Aston or is it the LC500H? That is the worst timing in human history for a cut. Oh, goodness me. We're on tenterhooks. Yamauchi through into third place. Good work from the Subaru crew. And yes, all very well seeing the Subaru fans celebrating, but we want to see who the leader in GT300 is. Thank you very much. It is still the AC500H for now. Charlie Fag, Kotaka places the car in exactly the right place. Charlie Fag's got to commit at the inside of Spoon, and he's there. Aston Martin take back the lead here at the Suzuka 3 Hours, but Kazuta Kotaka is not done yet. He's going to hustle in behind the Vantage all the way down the straight to have another go up to 130R, but Charlie Fag has brought the Aston Martin back to the front. D-Station Vantage leads at Suzuka.
I think Kotaka didn't defend that, did he? He didn't expect the Vantage to try the move there, and we're looking at a replay now. Takaboshi losing out potentially to Yamamoto and Kakinoshinoto on the comeback train. The real racing Honda is also going to have a look up the inside. Doesn't look like it, but that was a move in favour of Yamamoto, which looked like it. It's another full course yellow. Are these guys slowing down or what?
Oh, no!
Oshima. I think Oshima, I want to see an on-board there, but Oshima was dangerously close to passing under a full course yellow.
Yes, he was.
Or maybe just before the countdown. I think, from memory, I think the rules changed now so that we see the boards, the electronic boards on your screen there, top right of the picture. Takuto Iguchi can't believe it. He knows the championship's gone for another year. They're not going to come back from this, I don't think. They're way too far behind now if the number 2 scores well and the 52 as well. But the boards come on before the actual the speed limit and the no overtaking is actually enforced. So I think you might be okay. Although I'm still fairly sure that you're not supposed to overtake during the countdown itself. So let's wait and see. I'd love to see an onboard of Oshima's car, but either way, he did have a bit of a lock-up there, and that might have been something that will help the onboard.
So we go past the Lamborghini and out of the hairpin. We're about to lose all power.
Yeah, you can hear it, can't you?
Oh dear. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what a loss of a championship sounds like. And here is the battle between the Impel and the Toms. And look at Shotsumoi! Oh, he's never going to pull that off, is he? Side by side with Inamine. Kazuki Inamine caught out by Tsuboi, can hold it right round the outside, can he? Oh my goodness! What a battle!
Hiramine was right on the edge there. Huge twitch in the middle of the S's. I thought that was going to give Tsuboi the opportunity to go through, but just was a couple of centimetres too far back to force the issue up the inside as they went into Dunlop, the long left-hander, I should say, the formerly Dunlop curve, now just turn 7 or whatever sponsor name they have these days, as Tsuboi clears the J-Lock Lamborghini. But I think Hiramine's safe again. But again, this is in terms of those two cars being close together on the circuit, as Roberto Merri is at the wheel of the Ferrari. Now, is that a change for position? They've both done, the Vantage has only done one stop, the number 6 has done its second stop. I find that puzzling. I think that the timing tower on the left there isn't matching up what we're seeing.
Are they trying to unlap themselves? I wonder if they're trying to unlap themselves following the pit stop.
No, that would make more sense, yes.
I mean, that's a bit bizarre if they've suddenly got the pace to unlap themselves after a pit stop. But hey, if they've got the car underneath them to do it, then why not? Because they've now got themselves in net 4th position. They're not that far away from the LC500H. The Le Mans Ferrari podium could still happen. But Charlie Fag, I think Charlie just deciding, do you know what? They're a lap behind us. Who cares? Just let them go. Let them have their moment. Because we've got bigger fish to fry here. We've got to focus on our objectives. And don't forget that this is a consolidating effort now. A drive-through penalty! A drive-through penalty for Nino Fukusumi and the Ineos Prime Rookie Crew. What is that for?
Unsafe release in the pits.
Oh my goodness, yeah, they were so determined to get out. They came out right in front of the Stanley Honda, and that has cost them a drive-through penalty. Well, that could hand the lead back to Giuliano Alesi. And the top, yeah, and there's absolutely
Wow,
no
yeah.
debating that. No debating that at all. That's a slam dunk drive through. I cannot believe it. Side by side. Fukuzumi really going for it, but Kenti Yamashita affording him enough space to be comfortable with it. Down the straight, here we go. Right, Fukuzumi is going to be sent the long way round at the 130R. Side by side, and Kenti Yamashita still trying to make him work for it, but he does get through before they get to the 130R radius. So Fukuzumi is able to get through in a third position, but Mike, yet again, these two are so busy squabbling over third position, they're not even in the hunt for the Mutaringen car. Mary again, just so much more aggressive over the curbs, off the turn. A little bit of a twitch from Kataka, but now once again the horsepower advantage is going to kick in as the Stanley Honda charges past them. Yamamoto at the wheel still. But this is where Roberto Meri gets frustrated. Nakamura just able to draw that crucial car length and a half further away. And it's just enough to stop Mehi going for that move on the inside line. His car is definitely able to match the LC500H and is definitely quicker in the bends. But on the straight, that hybrid is just too big a horsepower advantage for the Ferrari to work with.
Yeah, I think Mary will be very, very frustrated when they tell him on the radio that the number 2 car came out well ahead of this battle, given his frustrations with the BOP. So that will probably make him even more riled up to try and make a move on Nakamura's stick. But the longer he stays behind, the more he's going to cook his tyres, I think. And even though Nakamura is on the older tyres here, the Bridgestones do tend to hold up fairly well. And you can see there, 23 seconds clear. That's how much that the time he saved. And Mary's finally got the move under the hairpin. Great, good move for P3.
Well, that was inevitable, but he had to get on with it. Half an hour to go, and Roberto Mehi makes the dive on Shin Nakamura in through the hairpin. And now, hopefully, there will be enough bends for Roberto Mehi to start charging away from that Lexus. Right, there is Fukuzumi on the back of the Mugen. Right, so this is the battle for the victory reigniting, because the ARTA Civic is catching the leading Toyota by about half a second a lap. So this isn't done. And anyone who thought that the Ineos rookie race for victory was over, including me, could actually end up looking a little foolish soon, because that car is suddenly getting back into a race-winning contention. Here's the move from Mehi. Big dive. That was a big gamble, and it worked.
Yeah, he needed to make the move at a slightly unorthodox part of the circuit, considering the characteristics of the car, and you can see how far he's pulled away.
Now we've got Kakuna Shinoda stepping up to the attack, and we've got Fukuzumi going through in a second place. That didn't take as long as I thought it might. Beautiful from Fukuzumi. He knows that the win is still on. Kazuya Oshima really on adrenaline now. Right, we're in second. Go get Giuliano Alesi. Knuckle down, head down, firm. Go get him. Here's how they got the move on Otsu. No time to wait around. Banzai, make it happen. Make him back out of the move. We can win this.
And I don't think Otsu defended that one too hard, did he? He probably knew that he didn't have the pace to keep Fukuzumi at bay forever. Better to bank the podium. ARTA have had a miserable start to the year, so better to hang on to a certain third than risk it all of the credit coming his way. I think to help make Alesi feel comfortable, to solve the language barrier. He did it for Sacha Benestraz in Super Formula a couple of years ago, and now it looks like the magic has rubbed off on Giuliano Alesi as well.
Jean Alesi never got the chance to win at Suzuka in Formula 1. His son Giuliano is about to do so in Super GT for Toyota in fantastic fashion. Giuliano Alesi seals the deal for the Tom Super crew in partnership with Ukyo Sasahara. Toyota wins on Honda's home turf. The Ineos rookie team come home with Nino Fukuzumi to make it a 1-2 for Toyota. Honda will seal a podium, but Giuliano Alesi and Ukyo Sasahara come of age in Super GT for their first win as the dynamic duo in the 37 Supra. Here, though, comes the win for Aston Martin, for D-Station Vantage, and for Tomonobu Fuji and Charlie Fagg. It's British Racing Green that triumphs at Suzuka in magnificent fashion. Their third ever race together, and they win. What a moment for Ukyo Sasahara, who is in tears down in pit lane. The Tom Super Crew now have 2 winning driver combos. So how many races are we going to win from here? Giuliano Alesi, finally a winner in Super GT.